Hey there, and welcome. If you've just unboxed your shiny new Natus Synergy PIU system, you are in exactly the right place. We're going to walk you through everything, step by step, from getting the components out of the box to actually running your very first test. So let's dive right in. All right, here's our game plan. First, we'll get familiar with your new system and all its parts. Then, we'll connect all the hardware, get the power on sequence down, enter your first patient into the software, and finally, we'll bring it all together and run a test. First things first, let's just take a moment to get acquainted with all the hardware, just so you know what you're looking at. Understanding what each piece does makes the whole setup process go so much smoother. Okay, so take a look at what you've got in front of you. You should see these 5 key items. The real heart of the whole operation is the Patient Interface Unit, or PIU. Then, of course, you've got your PC, the deluxe stimulator probe, a handy foot switch for hands-free control, and the all-important power supply module. Now that we know what's what, it's time to get everything hooked up. And don't worry, we're going to use the detailed diagrams straight out of the user manual to make this absolutely crystal clear. So what is this PIU really? Well, think of it as the command center for your entire setup. It's the central hub where everything patient-related, the amplifier, the stimulators, the foot switch, all of it connects. All the signals, all the controls, they all run through this one box. We're going to break down the connections into 4 simple steps. First, we'll get power and data hooked up. Then we'll connect the amplifier. After that, the stimulator probe. And finally, the foot switch. Easy. All right, first stop is the big one, power and data. The PIU has a cable that's permanently attached and it splits into 2 ends. One end goes to the power supply and the other USB end plugs right into your computer. Now this is super important. The manual is very clear that you must only use the Synergy power supply, model 035C005. Seriously, using any other power supply could compromise patient safety or damage the system, so definitely stick to that specific one. Okay, now if you look at the end of the PIU, you're going to see the inputs for the amplifier. You'll see 2 ports there for channel 1, labeled DIN 1 and DIN 2. For this setup, we're going to be using the primary port, so that's DIN 1. Let's get that amplifier connected. It's a quick 2-step process. First, grab the amplifier's main connector and plug it firmly into that DIN 1 port we just found. Second, take the separate patient ground lead and pop it into the green input jack. You really can't miss it. Next up is the deluxe stimulator probe. This is going to connect to the 9-way D-type socket. You'll notice it has a couple of little screws on the plug. Go ahead and tighten those down to make sure you have a really solid and reliable connection during your tests. And last but not least for the hardware, we have the foot switch. It plugs into the other 9-way socket, just like the stimulator probe. Plug it in and tighten those screws. And that's it. All the hardware is plugged in and ready to go. See? Simple. All right, everything's plugged in. Now for the moment of truth. Let's power this thing up. The order you do this in does matter to make sure everything starts up correctly. So let's walk through it together. It's super simple, but you gotta do it in this order. First, flip the power switch on the PIU base unit itself. Second, go ahead and turn on your computer. And third, once your computer has fully booted up, launch the EMG version 21 software from your desktop. Oh, and here's a little time saver for you. Depending on your setup, especially with notebooks, the Synergy program might be set to launch automatically as soon as you turn on the computer. So don't be surprised if it just pops up on its own. Pretty handy. Okay, so the system's on, the software's loaded, ready to do our first thing inside the program, which is entering some new patient information. It's worth taking a second to understand why this is so key. As the manual puts it, the patient database is the central hub of the entire system. Basically, this means everything you do for a patient, all their tests, the results, the reports, it's all linked back to this one single entry. So getting it right from the start is fundamental. And actually doing it is a piece of cake. You can either press the F1 key on your keyboard or just click the New Patient button. Now the software only needs 3 things to get started. See those fields highlighted in yellow? Just fill in the patient ID, last name, and first name. After that, just click OK. And boom, you're in. That screen you're looking at right now is the Test Navigator. This is basically your mission control for choosing any clinical test you want to run on the system. All right, this is what it's all been about. We've got the hardware set up, we've got a patient loaded in the system, so let's actually run our very first test. Now, this system can do a ton of different procedures. This little chart just gives you a quick feel for 3 of the main ones. The main takeaway here is how you interact with the system changes depending on the test. For something like a motor NCS, you'll be using your hands on the physical knobs and buttons a lot. But for others, like sensory or needle EMG, you'll be relying more on the software controls and the function keys on your keyboard. So, to keep things simple and get you started, let's pick a really common one. How about we walk through a quick motor NCS test? Ready? Okay, so from that test navigator screen, find the motor NCS folder and open it up. A menu will pop up asking for the specific nerve you want to test and which side, left or right. Just make your selection and click OK. Now for the fun part, you're back to using the PIU itself. Use that big knob to dial in the stimulus intensity, press the single stim button to deliver a pulse, and when you're ready to move to the next stimulation point, just hit the next site button. And just like that, you've done it. Think about it. In just a few short minutes, we've gone from a box of parts to a fully connected, powered-on system that's ready to acquire real data. The whole process is really designed to get you up and running fast. So the system is now all yours to explore. It's set up, it's ready to go, and you've got the basics down. The door is now open to motor NCS, sensory NCS, needle EMG, and a whole lot more.